Hey there, beautiful people. It's Dina bringing another daily dose. Sometimes on our journeys as moms, especially moms with special needs kids or moms in an extreme parenting situation, we describe that a lot on this channel. Sometimes it can just feel like it is a heavy journey, that there's no joy in the journey, or it just seems like it's a lot of work, and that we're at the end of the days, we're just exhausted. So many times I was like, I just want the day to be over. I remember saying that my best part of the day was getting back into bed. And it was even kind of a joke with my daughter Gracie and I, and she would say, Mommy's best, most favorite part of the day is going back to bed. And that, it was funny at the time when we would joke about that. But when I think back now, how terrible that actually was to be thinking that my very best part of the day was the end of it when it was over, which made me believe that I really did not enjoy the day at all. I didn't enjoy the journey of the day. It was just filled all the time with exhaustion and stress and, just all the extra responsibilities. If you're a parent of a special needs child, then you know that everything is extra. Every day is filled with responsibilities that are, beyond your typical parenting experience. But that doesn't mean that we have to go through that in that weary state. When I was thinking that was more my mindset around it. It wasn't that each of the responsibilities were something that were so much harder for me to deal with. It's that my view of that was harder. My view was always in the negative of what that was. I was just so focused on the exhaustion. I was just so focused on all the responsibilities that I had that I felt like nobody else had to do, which was, I was certainly operating in pride at that time. I just felt like a victim all the time. And this isn't fair. I have so much to do. Nobody's helping me. And again, if you've listened to any of the videos that I share about my own personal story, that wasn't necessarily true. That was just my view, the lens that I was looking through. And a lot of times the enemy wants you to look through that negative lens. They want you to see your situation through a lens of despair. And a lot of times it's our view, it's our own interpretation. There's things that happen and then there's things that don't happen, but somewhere in between, we create this narrative around it. We call it, it's our story over what happens. So my story is that I was alone, that I was not supported, that I had to do everything by myself. And although moms, certainly have the majority of the responsibility, especially if you're a stay-at-home mom and your spouse is the one that has to work, a lot of times we forget that they are the ones that, that actually are trying to hold the family together, financially. I didn't see that the way I see it now. I just saw it that, I was doing this all by myself. And there's a lot of negativity that came along with that. And so God has really transformed my heart. He's transformed my viewpoint of that. I had to really step out of what I was operating in, which was, that victim mentality, break off the lies that the enemy was saying about me or about my husband or about even our circumstances. And I had to learn that God did not bring Gracie into my life to make my life harder or to, as I share much about this in my writings and the book that I'm writing and in the book that I currently just published with 14 other amazing authors. We each share a story, and mine is about my journey of becoming a special needs mom. And I share in there that this was I felt like a prison to me. And, I just felt like I did not sign up for this. I didn't want another child. I didn't want to do this. At 42, I was already busy. My life was going in a direction that I thought I wanted to go. And then God completely turned that around to a detour that I was not prepared for. But what I didn't realize is that it was absolutely the best thing that ever happened to me. And is why I'm even here today to be able to share that. So, in many other videos and resources that I will share, I'll go into more depth about that. But this particular video is about where I was at in my mindset about that, where I was always looking through this as a frustrating, hard journey instead of enjoying the journey. So that made me think about that as I was pondering how to record this morning. I remember the time that I went skydiving, and I'll link the recap video to that at the end of this. And when you are skydiving, so, this was something that was kind of a bucket list item. We went with my husband and I and all of our kids. It was one of the most amazing experiences ever. But certainly I was scared to do that at first. But then there was like an exhilaration that I had that I was actually going to be able to do this. But the biggest part of this is that we didn't have to jump out of this plane on our own. we had a tandem person that was attached to us. If I would have tried to jump out of that plane without any experience, I probably would have plummeted to my death. But the fact that we had a tandem person with us that explained the entire process, mine was very kind. He was from England and he had this really cool little accent. He was just sharing his story with me as we were kind of floating down. But anyway, before we even got out of the plane, he kind of shared with me what to do, how to position my body and all of that. And then when we jumped out of the plane, there's this fast plummet where you're feeling like you are plummeting to your death. And then all of a sudden the parachute goes off and you're just gliding. You're just floating and you're just kind of taking in the beauty of the scenery around you. That's what I want to focus on here, is that you just observe and look around you and enjoy the journey. So that was the best part of it, is that I just got to sit there and kind of float down. We were talking, my tandem jumper with me, we're just talking about our lives and things. And then all of a sudden we get to the part where we're going to start to land, and he helped me land. He helped me to come into that lane. And we kind of had a little tussle and we fell, but it was so much fun. And I didn't fall by myself. He was there with me to support the fall. I kind of fell on top of him. But anyway, it made me think of like my journey as a mom, that God is attached to us. He's not telling us to jump out of this plane on our own and try to figure this out on our own, because we would plummet to our death. Like, honestly, he's been right there with us the whole time. He's he's connected to us. And he wants us to, so when you first become a special needs parent, it might feel like you're just, plummeting in this fast speed, like how the heck am I going to be able to navigate or whatever. It doesn't have to be special needs mom. It could be any difficult situation. And all of a sudden you kind of feel like you're floating and you're just kind of taking in the scenery. And that's, it took me a long time to get to that place, but God wants us to enjoy the journey. He wants us to find peace and joy amongst the challenges that we have to go through. So it's like that tandem person in the skydiving, where you're just kind of hanging out and you're floating and you're overlooking the whole viewpoint. When we can get outside of our own victim mentality, our own struggles, and we can just look and see what a beautiful journey this is. That's when, that's when God really shows you your true heart. And he shows you his heart, and then you become one. So it took me a long time to go from the plummeting, feeling like I was going to just not be able to survive it, to just really enjoying my journey and just sitting and being connected and partnering with God and Holy Spirit and just enjoying the journey. Now, it didn't mean that there wasn't a potential danger ahead, okay? But I just knew that the tandem person would get me safely to my destination. So I just know that God is going to get me safely to my destination. This whole thing really isn't even about a destination. It's a journey, and it's about the becoming of who God has created you to be in the journey. He happened to choose this journey for me. Other people have different journeys that they go through. They go through different struggles and things that God will use to develop your character and build your strength and build your character more like Christ. Mine happens to be a special needs mom. And there's many other things that, facets to this. It's not just being a special needs mom that has created me to be who I am today, sitting across from this camera, sharing my heart with you. But what more than anything, I want you to know that you're not alone on that journey. God is connected to you. He wants you to enjoy the journey. He did not bring this journey to you, whatever that hard season is that you're on, did not bring it to you so that you could just get to the end of the day and say, I'm so glad the day is over. This is the best part of the day. He brought this to you so that you can take in every single moment of it and then get to the end of the day and say, I can't wait to get back up again tomorrow and start all over again. Now, sometimes those days, I do still feel like, gosh, this has been a really long day and I just need to get some rest. And sometimes we need to do that. But I no longer go to bed anymore and just think I can't wait for this day to be over. I actually do live my life to the fullest now, and it is still filled with all kinds of messiness and struggles and trials as a special needs mom. And, navigating just even being a wife can still be challenging sometimes. And now, a content creator and a business owner and all of that, it can be, a lot in a day. So I definitely cherish my rest when I get to put my head on that pillow. But I no longer act like a victim and feel like, the day just consumed me. It's like a journey now that I have of excitement of what is God and I, what are we going to partner with today? And it's also my intention of starting the day that way. And I take the time in the morning to just intentionally allow God to have control of my day and just, cover myself in prayer and, even anoint myself with oil so that I am able to be used properly, and not be used as a weapon. As I've said so many times, my words were, like weapons of mass destruction. When we're not taking care of ourselves, we can be very careless with our words, and our actions to our family. So anyway, I just want to leave you with that. You have a tandem person attached to you, and his name is Jesus, and he's the one that's going to take you on this journey. Don't forget to just enjoy the glide. He's going to glide you down from whatever it is you're going through, and just enjoy every view that you have, all the ups and the downs and the twists and the turns and the messiness and the excitement and the exhilaration of whatever it is that God has called your life. And I thank you so much for taking the time to watch and just being a part of this journey with me. And I just, pray that it bless you. And if you know somebody that could really use the encouragement, just share this with them. We don't want to keep this to ourselves. This was really meant so that, God can just be available to anybody. So anyway, thank you so much again. Like, share, subscribe so that we can continue what we're doing here. The God of the universe loves you and is madly obsessed with you. And I love you. And I can't wait for us to come back together again. So have an awesome day. Bye-bye. 𝗷𝗂𝗏𝗰𝗴